Hello guys, this video is actually a very interesting video showing you how to find the range of values of quadratic inequalities. All right, so without any waste of time, let's begin. Solution. I'm going to pick the first one, and the first one is x squared minus x minus 12 is greater than 0. Now, what you are going to do in this case, once you have this type of question where you are asked to find the range of values, the first thing is to assume that it is a quadratic equation, which we have x squared minus x minus 12 is equals to 0. Now, you solve this. You are going to solve this. Now, solving this is picking these two. This is going to be minus 12x, multiplying them actually, minus 12x squared. So you look for two factors of minus 12 that will sum to give you minus 1 because the coefficient of x is minus 1. I want to believe you remember this from my other videos. Now, the factors are minus 4x and 3x. So we can now substitute for minus x these two factors. We are going to have x squared, now minus 4x plus 3x minus 12 is equals to 0. So you are going to have x, I'm factorizing now, into x minus 4, then plus 3 into x minus 4 is equals to 0. So I have x minus 4 down into x plus 3 is equals to 0. So in this case, we are going to have x is equals to 4 from x minus 4. Then the second one, we have x is equals to minus 3. Now, over time, I found out that students make serious mistakes by saying, okay, once they have this, then they will now come down to say, oh, it means that x is actually greater than 4, then x is greater than minus 3, and they leave it as this. This is very wrong. This is not what you should do. That is not to find the range. All right, let me take you to know how to actually find the range. So let me take this off because it is actually not correct. All right, not correct to do this. Now all you need to do to find this is this. You have two things that you can do, but I'm going to take you on one because it's actually simpler. All right, and I want you to learn it. Now you are going to sketch the curve. You sketch the curve because it's quadratic, so you sketch the curve. Now this is what I'm going to do to sketch the curve. All right, then I have my x-axis, remember, so this is y-axis and this is x-axis. So since it's sketching, I can put this to be my minus 3, then I have this to be 4. All right, those are the values of x, so I have them. Now you go back to the equation. Now this equation is x squared minus x minus 12. Now if you check, the coefficient of x squared here is positive. The coefficient is positive, hence our graph is going to be like this. Okay, it's a u-shaped graph because the coefficient of x squared is positive. So it means that actually this pass through. This is the graph, it passed through like this. This is the graph. Now, since you have this, very important, you will now check what sign of inequality is there. The sign is greater than sign. Look at it. Is this greater than sign that is there? So you come here. Where is the graph greater than 0? If it's greater than 0, it's positive. Where is y positive? Y is positive at the upper part. So I'm going to shade. This is the graph. This is the shading. This is how the shading is. I'm shading this. Good. Now, once you shade this, from here you will now conclude. If you check, from minus 3 is moving left further. Hence, you can now say that actually your x is going towards less than minus 3. Good. And from the right hand side, if you check, x from 4 is going further to the right hand side, right? So x is actually going greater than 4. So this is the answer to this question. This is the range. Very important. Okay, Now, if you check, the other questions are the same. You have the same, just different conclusions, but they are the same, different conclusions. Okay. The second question is when it is actually less than 0. So this is what I need you to know. Now, if you have x squared minus x, then minus 12 is actually less than 0. We've solved it already. So in this case, your x is still equals to 4 and your x is equals to minus 3. So all you need to do is to come and sketch so that you can be able to make a very good conclusion. So the same sketch I'm going to take in this. Okay, very important. Now let me say this is my y and this is my x-axis. So let me pick this to be my minus 3 and let me pick this to be my 4. The same thing, I check the coefficient of x squared is positive, so my graph is going to be a u-shaped graph. So this is what I'm going to have. All right, this is what I'm going to have. But in this case, you can see that we are talking about less than. All right, it is this sign we are talking about. So what is less than 0? It's negative. So negative y is going to be down here. Can you see the shading now? This is the shading. This is the shading. Now, if this is the shading, then we can make our conclusion to be this. Now, from minus 3 is moving towards the right. So it's getting greater than minus 3. So you can see x is actually greater than minus 3. Now, from 4 is going down towards the left. Okay. Hence, we can now say that x is actually less than 4. And in this case, you can actually combine this so that you are going to have x is actually greater than minus 3 and less than 4. So you can combine it to be this. And whether you keep it at this or the other one is still the same thing. Okay, the same conclusion, the same answer, and the same marks you're going to get. So let's move quickly to the next one. The next one is having a coefficient of negative and is greater than. All right. So let's move to the next one. What we have in the next is going to be, we have 12 minus x squared is greater than 0. Now, the same thing. When you work this out, you are going to get your x to be equals to minus 3 and your x is equals to 4. Then we'll test to get the range of values, just as we did in the first two. All right, this is what I have. And this is my x-axis. So this is x and this is y. Now, if you check, let's here be my minus 3 and here be my 4. Now, in this case, the coefficient of x squared is negative. All right, coefficient of x squared is negative. And once coefficient of x squared is negative, your graph is going to be a dome shape like this. So hence, this is what I'm going to have as my graph. And this time we have a greater than sign. Okay, since we have a greater than sign, what is going to happen is that I'm going to pick a value that y is positive. And this is where I have, because it's above the 0 mark, right? It's above this. So this is what we have. Now from this, we can make our conclusion. If you check from minus 3, it is going towards the right hand side. Hence, we have x is actually greater than minus 3. Then if you check from 4, look at it's moving like this. And everything going to that side is negative. Now you have to check the progression of the shading. Okay, that is what it means. So you are going to have x is actually less than 4. So you can combine it to be x is actually greater than minus 3 but less than 4. Good. So you can leave your answer like this, or you can leave it in this form. It's still the same thing. So the last one, the last scenario is this. Is when we have 12 minus x squared, and this time around is actually less than 0. So The same thing, when you work this out, you get x is equals to 4 and x is equals to minus 3. So you now draw your graph to test and find the answer. All right. This is what I have. All right. So this is my y and this is my x. Now let's here be my minus 3 and here be my 4. Now if you check this, the same thing, the coefficient of x squared is negative. So your shape of your graph is going to be the dome shape like this. So I'm going to have something like this. All right. As my graph. Then we check the sign. The inequality sign is less than. And less than is negative. And negative is down part of the graph. So this is where I'm going to be shading. This is where I'm going to be shading. Now, if you check the progression of the shading, from minus 3 is moving further away towards the left. Hence, that is moving like this. Hence, x is actually less than minus 3. Then, if you come here, it is moving this way. So, it therefore means that x is actually greater than 4. So, we have the solution as x is less than minus 3 and x is greater than 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, my students, this is exactly what you need to know when it comes to quadratic inequalities. I gave you the 4 scenarios, and I want to believe you understood, and you can work other questions on your own from the textbook or any other outlet. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe.